I have to let you guys know something.
Yes,
Uh-oh,
please.
what, are we in trouble?
The person that was making trouble to you when you guys was doing that USA event, that Sumo 53 was me.
It was you? That's
Look at this.
hilarious.
Look at these two dorkies. They are getting all pissed off, and I made sure I kept on doing so. You guys, oh, we're just doing what we have. We're having fun. What we're doing. So whatever you say, we don't really like it. I'm like, okay, girls.
Okay.
That was me.
So we're gonna dish it right back to you next time. We were trying to be all nice and professional, like. Woo! That kind of stuff really.
No,
gets
but
under her.
I was trying to be professional too.
You're good.
Yeah, I know you guys. I was getting to where I know you guys are gonna get like frustrated because I kind of know you guys' style, but I did that on purpose too because I wanted you guys. I didn't wanted you guys to know that you're the only two that really look into it. So it's fun to have fun with it, but at the same time, you have to keep like that the knowledge you have about sumo, because not too many people know about it. That's why I was like trying to hit, but you was getting pissed off at me, and I didn't care. I just wanted to make you more mad. I was trying to get you to get the Yama to come to the freaking.
We did.
Because Yama he wasn't competing. Yeah, but I was trying to get him to come. I was telling you guys when you guys were speaking at that contest at the event, call Yama. Try to get him to come. But you guys wasn't listening because you guys are already pissed off at Sumo 53, I think.
Well,
was it Sumo 53 or Sumo 52? I forgot.
I can't remember now, but I do remember seeing that comment, and that is what finally got us to go back to Yama, was seeing that comment. So that was you. We would not have had the courage to actually walk up to him and ask him for that if you hadn't suggested it. So the fact that we did,
they're all nice. They're all nice.
They are, but this just still so scary.
Come on, you guys got to appeal to these people so they know when sumo really becomes as big as it is, they're gonna know the sumo sisters.
The sumo sisters.
Nobody else is doing it the way you guys doing it. So what the hell? You got nothing to lose.
That is so true.
Yeah, it is so true.
We're learning on the fly. There's so much every day. We're just absorbing and just trying to remember.
Yeah, there's a lot. What did you guys just put up there? The reason why we're talking?
Oh, the
Tokoyamas.
Yeah, the Tokoyamas. So we're
actually
what we got wrong.
So the 45 you're talking about, they're 45 years, they're retired already. Yeah, because they started at 15.
Yeah.
The Tokoyama too, it goes by ranking. At the same time, ranking, you have your like senior guys that actually are hairdressers who train all these kids when they come in.
Yeah.
Which is not really much. You have a younger kid who's probably getting in his 20s and he's really good. They're allowed, most of them are not even allowed to touch like the ozeki and the yokozuna's hair.
Right.
So these guys, most of the ozeki or yokozuna, they actually have like a veteran a Tokoyama, most likely will be their hairdressers.
Yeah.
But the hairdresser's job,
years that they have in, it's like 30 that they have in before they get to do an ozeki and a yokozuna's hair.
Well, they start with all the younger boys. Even when at 15, they start just doing the combing part because every day they got to do the hair.
Yeah.
And so they learn. They always, there's a senpai, what you go, older senior Tokoyama in every stable. Or if there's not, there's a family stable that they have to go and learn. Gotcha. So like a young stable that comes with you and they don't have a Tokoyama, they would draft a new kid, a 15-year-old, and that kid has to actually learn from another Tokoyama that is from that family, family stable.
Okay.
So it takes about a year. All you have to do is learn is do the regular CHONMAGE. So every time you watch sumo, because this is the way you can tell if the guy was good or bad. When you watch the matches and the guy's hair is like all over the place after a match, those guys are not good. If you notice the yokozunas, their hair is always in a place.
Yeah.
You go back in all the old fights too. All the top guys, if you look, hardly their hair is in all the place, even how crucial they hit. That's how because that's how good the guys tight. It's hard to because it's slippery because of the oil, the grease they use on the hair. So you really have to have like some kind of technique, and I guess it's just a lot of years of doing it. Because it's I try to do it, but I'm not good at it. I do it loose. And every other sumo wrestlers when they're off, they're not doing their hairs because they're off, right? They don't do their chonmages on that week off after the tournament. So they all try to work on each other when they want to go out and stuff. So, but you can tell
That's what
it's not that
happened.
easy.
Oh, we were
Yeah,
wondering
after the
because
tournament.
we had questions about what happens when these guys go on vacation, or what happens when they go to the beach.
Like
or...
their hair
Well,
looks like it's styled.
there's no such vacation. The only time they really don't do their hair is just like right after the tournament. Maybe from that Monday to Friday. On Saturday, Sunday, they're already back in action. They gotta go. They start training already, or they start just warming up. Or like for now, after every Tokyo tournament, they usually have retirement sumo where you guys start seeing people retiring.
Yeah.
They're finally getting all these guys. You see all these guys. You watch the tournament. All these guys walking around with the shomage. That's not normal. Because of Corvette, they couldn't do the ceremony, so it's all pushed back.
Right.
So this week they had 2 and stuff like that. So
yeah, we watched
that's the reason. That's the reason why you see all these guys have tremendous. Normally you won't see that much at one time. Probably at most maybe 3 at one time because they only can do the ceremonies after Tokyo tournaments. Okay. And the Tokoyama thing, they don't do their hairs after the tournament. They're just all relaxed. Even the Tokoyamas get to have a day off and stuff. Everybody's off.
So the wrestlers are doing each other's hair in that week if they want to.
Well, you know, like the younger guys would actually get forced to learn how to do it because there's senior wrestler guys want to go out and they want to look good. So a lot of the young guys learn it because of that, because the Tokoyamas don't come to the stable when those days off. So when you said 45, at 45 years, they retire. All these guys, by the time they retire at 60, yeah. It's the retirement.
Okay, I thought it was like 65 that they retired, but it's
60. No, the Oyakatas is 65.
Oh, okay.
Oyakatas is, even all the Tokoyama, they're 60. Only the Oyakatas. The Oyakata is 65, but after the Oyakata he has to release his stable to a deshi or another guy who's an Oyakata in the stable, or close his stable. But he can still be an Oyakata for the next 5 years. They get to stay in the association till 70. That's if they have a stuck in an association, which is only 105. So
just because you mentioned earlier the hair cutting ceremonies that's been happening, the Danpatsushiki, is that correctly?
Danpatsuki.
Yours. And just because they've been happening recently and we love watching them, we're fascinated by it. And I think a lot of people who reach out to us want us to reach out to you and like ask what is it like to sit in that chair? I know that the ceremony is meant to sell tickets, and all the money that's raised goes to the wrestler in his retirement. And what was your experience like? Was it just like crazy with tons of people, or was it like a ceremony in which you felt like the emotion that a lot of the wrestlers speak about at the end? Or just in general, what do you remember about that weekend?
I don't want to brag, but I had one of the biggest ever in Sumo Association. No, for real. And I produced the whole thing myself. And that was the biggest difference because they wasn't used to somebody who actually retires and actually handles the whole thing. When I knew I was retired, I went and started my company already, which they didn't know. I had like over 10,000 people, close to 12,000 people in my ceremony. We had over 400, I think it was 440 people with the Caesars that came out and just cut a piece or took a photo cut with it. We had celebrities to the American ambassador, and we had just a whole bunch of people. But you know, it's a very emotional thing. You know, it's sad and happy at the same time because it's a life that you left. You're actually living the sumo life officially. You know, from the day you retired, you're not sumo tori, but your chonmage is still there, so you're still noticeable as a sumo tori. But after that is gone, you're like back to like finally that's many years of having your hair up and feel so different. It's like taking off the hits, taking off the weight that you carried, the pressure, the lifestyle you carried all this time. It just falls off your shoulders when it comes off. I was very emotional because I brought my whole family. and I turned my retirement into like an entertainment thing, man. I had like dancers from Hawaii. I had the original like the traditional Hawaii army
Hmm.
guys come in. The
Hmm.
traditional Hawaiian, they came and they marched me in and marched me out. You have a traditional hula teacher, hula, what you call it? What do they call it? Senseis or something. What kumu they call it in Hawaii. So it was so entertaining that people still talk about it today. It was well planned. Um, I, I I I had my own office to handle my whole thing. Usually
Mhm.
the stable master and their fan club were trying to handle, but I didn't let nobody handle my retirement. I did it all by myself. I put it together myself. I was the only person that I know of during my time, even after. Nobody had a full live TV station, major station, filming this retirement during the day. And then I had a VIP party at night. There was another TV station, Fuji TV, actually went live and filmed my VIP party. We had over 2,000 people at
Wow.
the gala in Shinagawa Prince Hotel. And here they had Nitele, the Channel 4 did the did the service. So it's very rare. They have what you call it, scalpers, guys
Uh-huh.
that go
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're buying their channels, and that's the first time they ever see scalpers trying to sell tickets to my retirement. So
Wow.
yes,
Well, it should have
I
been
don't know.
it should have been on your terms, because I know last time we talked about just the announcement of your retirement was not necessarily something that you got to say yourself or you choose yourself.
Well,
So,
anybody in that situation, nobody has to say themselves. They can actually do anything. It's like playing in a league. If you play for NFL, if the bosses don't want you there, they can kick you out anytime, which
mm,
is that's the power they have, which is what
yeah,
goes with anything in life.
yeah,
It's no different. But it's just that the way they did it, and if you're the person that getting hit by it, you take a certain way. It hurt at the time, but
yeah,
I always wanted to find a way to get back to them, and I did. Smartly.
yeah.
Smartly, a way that it was on good terms, and they kind of felt they're wrong because my way of thinking is just killing with love, man.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they're gonna feel bad because I'm the one trying to be neutral. They're the one trying to hide all the shit they do. So
Mm.
that's life. It's that's life. That's everything that everybody deals with every day. You
Mhm.
just got to know how to handle it.
Well, hey, to give you some questions that came from our listeners. This question comes from Paula. She was reading about the CHONMAGE master status, is what
Mm,
it sort of comes through in translation. That time between when you're no longer participating as a sumo wrestler, but before your retirement party. And she wondered
mm.
if there were like certain rules that you would have to follow during this time period. Like, are you still being paid to do certain things? Do you have to have a certain kind of etiquette or way of presenting yourself? So what's expected of them?
Well, the thing is, they're at a better place. The guys that you see stayed there, they're actually getting paid every month.
They still
Better.
receive their salary.
They have a separate salary now because all of the guys that you're seeing getting ready to actually get the chimage off, they're oyakatas already.
Okay.
And they have oyakata salaries now. They're all getting paid.
Okay.
Okay.
Some of them are even better that way because some of them went all the way down to Makusta. They should have
Right.
retired earlier.
Right.
But everybody's trying to time their retirement because it's the last hooray of their careers. It's the last time
Yeah.
you actually can invite all your family, your friends to see you in your chomangi. So the ceremony itself is all about um, giving back to the people who support you, the fan clubs, and that's the only way that everyone can come as one and actually celebrate your last days as an official sumo tori.
Huh.
But right after you're gone, the guys that you see there actually are getting paid. So the guys you don't see there, that's mean they don't belong to association.
Mm.
So they actually the guys that we just talked about is oyakata. So the guys who don't have oyakata status, they're on their own. It's really up to what they want to do. You'd be very surprised. The guys that don't stay in associations, the ones that are making it even better.
Hmm.
But you gotta remember, these kids who do like 5 to 10 years are so disciplined. When they go out in society, they know how to fight pain. They know how to take shit. They don't have to sleep, but they have energy to work like 20 hours and sleep 4 hours. And they can sleep anywhere and anything to survive. No, I'm honest. I have a guy that only went to Jorinang. He owns 3 hotels. He owns the biggest restaurant in Kagoshima. I have another guy who went to Makusta, and he owns a freaking golf course. I have a kid who was my skibito, who after he retired 5 years, he just stayed in a little apartment. He owns a huge building in Nagoya. I can go on and on. So what you guys are, and all my friends say, they always ask me if I can get a sumo wrestler to come work for them because they know they're so disciplined. I introduced a kid to an American company. He went in 1 year. The second he was the #1 salesperson. Like you said, skills, they have way better skills than anybody that they can make more money than all the professors that go to college. I can tell you that.
Nice.
They know how to survive. So
Right.
it's the one thing that people have to learn. Look at me. I left. You look at Takanohana and Wakanohana, they're going to start businesses that they can survive.
Yeah.
You know, and the guy, Takatoriki, I think you guys know, he has his YouTube channel.
Uh-huh.
That guy, he's a survivor. They took everything away from him and throw him out of the association. It's just hard work. It's attitude, you know. And so I haven't had a problem. Of course, you're gonna have your guys that it's like everything else. If you're not straight up with putting everything into sumo, you can tell when they quit, they're all gonna fuck up because sorry about the language, but they're all gonna screw up because society ain't nice. At least sumo, when you screw up, you get someplace to sleep, you have to eat, you have a scheduled year, you have ranking. But when you go to the real world, it's really up to you. And which is something that's easy for sumo wrestlers because we're used to getting yelled at, and we used to gain, go do this, go do that. That's the life the younger guys think. You'd be surprised. I know some guys who freaking are wearing gold watches because they're all legit. Most of them are doing legit business.
So we don't need to worry. We don't need to worry.
No worry.
Mind your own. I tell you why, mind your own business.
But there are a lot of people in the States who think, oh, these poor guys that never make it to the top.
Because in the States, the mentality, they're not used to seeing an organization that does sport like sumo that start at 15 now.
Yeah, yeah.
But the good thing about starting at 15, these kids learn so much good trade, not only trade, but they learn to be great men with respect, men who can focus on stuff because they have to, and people who can follow rules. Like I said, when we just started, when you come 30 minutes early, you're already late in sumo. Right. And that's one of the best attitudes when you work. Always be the first at work, always be the last to leave. And this is the stuff you naturally learn in sumo, which nobody in any company learns. I always tell my rich friends, hey, you cannot handle your son. Tell your son to join sumo just 2 years. You'll be surprised how big difference you're gonna see.
More questions from listeners. When you're wearing a chonmage, do you ever get a ponytail headache?
At the beginning, a lot of guys do. They're not used to the smell, and then you push back. You gotta get used to having your head pulled back all the time. That's why when you get your oicho cut off, your chonmage cut off, you feel like the relief and stuff.
Question number 2: do you get to keep, or who keeps the ponytail that's cut off? Chonmage.
Everybody owns its own. I have mine right in my room. Really? Everybody has it at their homes. Yeah.
And you have it.
Everybody keeps it.
Little.
I have it in a glass case.
That's
so amazing. when I run out of money, I'm going to put it up in eBay.
Okay.
No,
I'm deciding to sell a lot of stuff. To be honest with you guys, I'm deciding to sell a lot of stuff I have because I'm turning 60 next year, and I just want to get rid of stuff. Like I have a statue in Hawaii in my house, and that will be a big and then the usual photos and all the stuff. I rather have it to somebody would actually like it and have it to keep it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, there would be lots and lots of people out
Well,
there.
anyway, okay, but
Let
yeah,
us know when
that's my answer.
Konishiki's greatest garage sale happens, and we will put out all the flyers.
Okay.
There's a lot of photos too, man. Like, phew, great stuff.
Love to see it. Okay, this one's from Devin. There's a video going out around right now that says that there used to be 5 styles of hair worn, and now there's only 2. Do you know what the others were?
They're talking about the samurai hair. Sumo, there's only 2.
Right.
Yeah, they're shaved.
Shaved in the front. So those are the other 2 kinds, or the other 3 kinds.
No, there's only 2 in sumo: the chobange and oicho. But people don't know. There's some guys actually has balls over here. They're bald in the middle.
Yeah.
That's because they have too much hair.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do the oicho.
We saw some pictures of that, and we were like, "Whoa,
Yeah,
what?" But what the question I had about the chonmage is, when the samurais used to wear their hair like that, it was shaved. The top of the head was shaved. But in sumo, when did they allow the hair from the front of the head to grow in?
No, sumo was always like that.
Even back in ye old days. Okay.
When sumo came out, sumo was always sumo. The samurai and sumo, people mix it up, but those days actually the samurai was the strong. From what I heard, the strongest samurai was ex sumo wrestlers. Well, they made it ex sumo. They wasn't as big and stuff, but they're like the stronger. I guess that's what developed into what we have today, what we call sumo.
Well, they say
sumo
that
tori.
the samurai training was essentially sumo training. It was sumo. That's how they were trained. Samurai.
Like I said, sumo people don't know. It's actually the first mixed martial art in the world. It's a combination of wrestling. You have judo, you have karate, you have aikido in it. So you can hit people in the face and break their nose. So it's kind of something what they do now. The only thing is just win and loss is done by getting pushed out or thrown into the ring. So other than that, we have like almost 80 different techniques that it's kind of related to a lot of other sports. Yep.
So is a retirement ceremony a really lucrative affair?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. Depends on who you are. Mine's were very lucrative. I made a lot of money from it. That's why I controlled it, because I didn't want anybody to take part of
take a percentage,
sharing that money. Yeah.
Smart man.
It's funny, a lot of sumo guys don't know, but once they retire, they think they still have to follow the rules of their oyakatas.
Yeah.
But through our respect, you do. But by rule, you don't have to let them do everything for you. You're already an oyakata. You're actually same level as them, just that he was your boss, right? He was your boss.
Yeah.
Past tense. After they're doing that, I knew what I was putting myself in, and I understood exactly what I was doing, and they knew exactly what I was saying, and they had no way to come around it. So it's all good.
How much does it cost for someone to cut a sumo wrestler's hair?
Well, all the people you see going out to cut is actually people that are like actually sponsors or guys that, and Japan is a huge thing for OUI. They call it it's gifts. Yeah, they like back home you buy stuff to give gifts, but Japan is always about the money. So it can be anything. If you always invite, the only thing you cannot go on a ring, but it's really up to you.
We have to cut from very far away.
You gotta have a long
contraption, very large.
The only way you guys can participate is when they do it in hotels or they do it at the stable. Because sometimes they let the kids come and turn their back and just sit on the part where people are sitting and watching, and you can cut hair. So yeah, it's really up to the person. It fluctuates. There's people who would freaking just give you a 10,000, or some people give you 500 or 300. It's all in the envelope. So that's why it's so important for me to make sure I run my own show, because I never know how much people are giving. So, and I wanted to make sure that nobody slips out. And the good thing about it, you cannot read, because people, the way they put those envelopes, they have the envelope and then they actually write exactly what's inside. So people cannot really steal. But that's why I was important to me. It's something like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they have they take and they write exactly where they're from, the address, and they put in the back how much they have in there. So it has to match what you have in there, right? So
who writes the thank you notes?
everything is you done by yourself. The invitations to thank you notes, you do it yourself. Everyone. And even the omiyage, they call it okaishi, something you give back for them participating. But that's not only part of the associate. That's not only the portion of that portion is only in the morning. It goes on all day because there's a party after that, the VIP party.
Yeah.
After you retire and then you get your blue jacket and then you become basically the bouncer of the Hanamichi.
Yeah, you see that going on right now, right? Hakuho's doing that, right?
Yeah. Did you have to do that? Did they put you in a blue jacket and have you like man the merchandise store?
Every single person had to do it, but me.
How did you get around it?
I don't know, but I was so popular that they needed security guards securing a security guard. I was a security, that's why. You know where they're standing? And my job is to come out and make people go down. Every time I come, the whole crowd is zoop. So my first day I did that. My second day they told me not to go out anymore. I was causing more trouble than anything else. Yes, I'm the only guy. I'm the only guy that never did anything. My first as a retired, I went and they put me right into they shipped me right to which is very rare. They shipped me to what's it called, Koho, which is I stay in the press room.
Oh, you stayed in there the whole time.
I was in the press room doing nothing, acting like I was. Well, our job was to make sure watch the sumo, and if there's like a close match, we had to make sure that the press knew exactly what was the call, or we get a phone call.
Yeah, that's an important job.
Nah, not really. Hardly you get a call. Very rare you get a call. You know, most of the time you're sitting there.
I've seen some videos of wrestlers sitting there, just like sitting there, and then the camera comes in, and then they're like, "Oh, we're doing something, and you're like, "I don't think y'all."
There's not really much to do. Yeah,
just watching.
The jobs they have in there's because of Corona, they took away a lot of jobs that we do. So majority of the guys is just outside. They're up in their rooms and stuff, just watching from outside.
Yeah.
And because they took away, they're the one who did all the ticketing and like they actually walked the whole stadium, but they took that away because of Corona. So they have another company. They hired a company to do all that stuff. So in my time, I never stand in the aisle. Even at the end where everybody has to come out, the Oyakans have to come around the ring and make sure. I never had to go out because everybody wouldn't go home. They would just stand there and start taking photos. I would go there in the morning with my blue jacket, go outside, say hi, go back in the back room and sleep all day.
How long did you do that for?
I did that my first tournament. Next tournament, they put me very rare. I was already in a press room already. They put me in charge of the press, which I was just yelling at them, "Do your freaking work! You don't know what you're doing." They hated me because I used to tease all the older guys, but you guys, this is not the old people's home. You guys gotta you're not doing nothing, get out of here. They hated me. I didn't care. I knew I wasn't staying in association, so I was already.
Oh my God.
They didn't know.
If anyone ever gives a shit online about anything anymore, I'm gonna know exactly who it is.
I will know who it is. You're such a rebel. Such a lovable rebel. But you have this has been my favorite tidbit.
You can give, but you gotta give and take,
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta kill them with love, sometimes you gotta kill them with the righteousness, not everybody. Sometimes people take advantage of your kindness, which is not this boy. Sorry. Yeah. If I give kindness, I'm expecting kindness. If you give me shit, I'll give you freaking double that shit, man. I'm double upping on that shit. Don't try me. I don't like that, especially when I'm getting older too. I don't have time for deal with that stuff.
Again from Paula. Paula's very interested in you.
Hey, Paula.
She wants to know what happens if a wrestler retires in shame. Does he still get his hair ritually cut, but in the heya instead? Is there a whole different process, or does he just like go home and cut his own hair and start a new life?
Yeah, if if he got in trouble or something that he uh most of the time he won't do it. He would actually do it somewhere else and do it on his own
Mm.
without the stables or his master's support. A lot of people like that. A lot of kids end up like that, which is sad. I just went to one on Takakenji's one.
Mm.
I went to cut his hair. I don't know the kid, but to me, anybody that's been doing sumo and had an opportunity to be great, and if somebody that he knew called me, if you have time, can you come over and uh, cut his hair and put it, because he have a lot of pretty much people supporting him. I actually helped his brother get into fighting.
Really?
I took his brother. His brother is going to be a huge name. And I actually tried to get him to be an actor, Takakenji. I
He'd be
told him,
great.
hey, you'll be a greatest actor. And I wanted because all the US fighters, the Europeans, they're all looking for somebody to come actually to train them. So I wanted to do actually, if I could get him to come, I would have actually find a way where I can send him out there and start training people. He's chosen to he wants to be an MMA fighter. He's still young. He's only 22, 23.
Yeah, yeah. So
But
you
his
went
brother, the one his brother that quit first, he's doing real good. I think he's one of the most shaped guys that I ever saw at that weight. He lost a lot of weight. He's down to like 115 kilos, but he was 165 when he came to us, and he's solid. And that's the thing about sumo. Like this kid's attitude, no talk back. It's just do. Hey, do this, do that, do this. Height, 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 height. And in less than a year, he's 4-1.
Wow.
He knocked the guys out. Like he's so much powerful. These sumo guys, their legs, their power in their legs and their gluteus maximus is too much. Once they really learn how to fight and kick, you're gonna have some people with some who broke their freaking knees with just one kick. He can train. And when he first started, he was dying. His body wasn't used to. So his first couple months, every time he did a heavy training, he couldn't move the next 3 days. But he kept on. He never quit. He only takes one day off, but he trains all day from one training to assistant training to training,
That's
and never
actually
grumbles.
that thing that you're talking about, though. When I do watch so many of the practices, that exhaustion level at the end of a practice, and how wrestlers enter that zone because that's what makes them better. And I would love to say I could understand that feeling, but I cannot. But how, even if your body is sore, even if you're just beat to all hell, how did you find that like ability to step back in the dojo the next day and go at it just as hard, if not harder? What is that?
Well, mentally, you can be strong. The mental part is your bodies that have to get used to it. Your first, for me, I used to bruise under my chin because people were shorter and they were hitting me with their heads and where I was trying to hit, and I was still trying to learn. So your body is so in pain every practice, like every after practice, you're in pain majority of the time. But the thing is, repetition. You just gotta go out and do the best. You will be better than yesterday, but you're there to actually catch all the hit and heat, and you just gotta dig in. And then after that, the best is the ones who are mentally strong and fight through the pain and fight it where they get used to the pain. The one thing I always advise the kids: when you start enjoying hitting and kicking people in the ass, that's when you're ready for sumo. Because you gotta love what you do. You gotta love people, and that goes for any sport. You talk to any athletes that make it, they have to love what they do. The process is, the practice and everything. That process is the most important. If you love the process of getting there is the easy way. But the process, you gotta love what you do. You gotta love the energy. You gotta love yourself. Looking in the mirror like, shit, I'm kicking ass today. It's that attitude and just loving what you do, and you find ways. You find ways to. My way is just I needed to support my family. I needed to prove some people wrong. So the more they kind of bullied me in my first couple months and 6, 7, 8 months, the more they saw the beast in this young 18-year-old kid that had seen nothing but revenge in every morning practice. I got up earlier than a lot of people just to train earlier and faster than anyone. I was really like boiled every single day. So thank you for being the motivators, because they didn't know they would keep pissing me off, but which was good. That's what the motivation is all about. You got to find something to be mad about or something to be happy about.
And what you're talking about there, boy, that really points to what's so bittersweet about watching these retirement ceremonies and watching that CHONMAGE get cut off, because that's such a huge change in a person's life. Having spent every morning doing what you're talking about, and then going to live the way normal people do. I can't even imagine that transition.
When you think about how
they're young. Yeah.
You're like,
so you gotta think about it. Tell me a sport where your whole look changes when you retire.
Yeah.
From the way you look to the clothes you wear, everything changes. Yeah. When you retire as an NFL or a basketball, you still look the same. You wear the same clothes. Sumo is like you turn human when you live sumo. You know what I mean? You're wearing suits now.
Yeah.
So it's something to get used to too, if you're foreign. But it's a natural thing here in Japan. People just excited how to see. Oh, I wonder how he's gonna look after without his chonmage and stuff like that. So.
Oh yeah, that's us Americans too. We're like, what's his hair gonna look like? That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Were you able to like sleep in ever again after your sumo hours? Your early morning, when you had days off and after you retired? Did you still keep a sumo schedule, or did you allow yourself to just sleep in, have your coffee, and mill around?
Yeah, you get up early anyway. Even now, I get up early.
I know you're always up early.
I'm always up early, and after we find the only thing that I had a hard time to do was eating breakfast. I couldn't, because we don't eat breakfast, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it took a while, a couple of years before like starting eating breakfast. Because we don't eat breakfast.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's about it. And then wearing normal clothes everywhere we go. We're not wearing yukata kimonos anymore. So the wardrobe got more clothes now. Jesus.
Do you ever, what was it like for your body after retirement? Was your body still aching to hit things?
Do you still want to?
Yeah. It was for a while, like a year or 2 years. But I started, like, I always trained. I was a power lifter, and I love weightlifting because so I kept on add more time between my busy schedule, actually putting together my retirement, a ceremony and a party. Between all that, I was actually training and stuff, and I was doing pretty good with it. But the sad thing about it is, like, every time I went to the gym, that you look at people and they're trying to lift heavy, it just like puts you in it kind of clicks your brain. Shit, you gotta lift more than me. Like, your your competitiveness still stays there for a while, and then all the pain that came with the career, I fight the pain, which almost killed me many times after my career, because I was fighting all this pain, and I didn't want to go to a hospital. Towards the end of my career, I had all ulcers that I didn't know I had because I was popping painkillers. Towards the last of my 5, 6 years of my career, I was like killing myself. It's funny that I'm able to live this long, because I know I actually almost saw heaven, or maybe I was probably going down or going up. I don't know which, but I really got sick a lot of times. Not sick, but like I was in pain a lot.
Yeah.
I stayed in pain, but not as something I in control of. So, because it comes with all the injuries that I've been. I'm glad I worked on my knee, my left knee, 2 years ago. I was hoping that I was doing my next surgery last year, but because of Corona, everything's pulled back. I want to work on my right knee, and then my left shoulder. If I can do those two things, my life will be much easier. And just, it's just something that every athlete has to go through. Find.
I know.
I go and when I see some of these old guys, I feel sorry for them. They have to deal with the pressure of being oyakatas.
Right.
I don't have that pressure.
Right.
So it kind of adds to the pain. And you know, and because of course I'm supportive, but at the same time, their jobs are not easy. You know, they're actually,
Yeah.
especially the ones that actually own stables.
Mhm.
It's a lot of work, man. And I talked to Musashi Maru. He's like my younger brother, so I always check on him all the time. I just send him a whole bunch of homaki sushi because it's Japan. It's a ceremony. Just send him a whole box for the kid, for the boys and stuff. So I pop in and out. I cannot really see the boys, so I just send stuff, and it's a hard job. You know, these kids are not. They, you know, they still run by their time. Their timeline is get up in the morning, train, eat, the soji, and clean up and wash clothes and develop, and again do a little training during the later in the day, and then have dinner and clean up again and go upstairs. Lights off 10 o'clock. Same thing, routine next morning. Yeah, that's hard stuff. And that's why
Yeah.
I'm taking you back to our conversation earlier. What does all the other submersives do? Well, that discipline helps them in society
Mhm.
because no one does that. And that's why they can actually overcome all the bullshit any boss can throw to them because they can take it. They've been through worse and harder times. And that's why they become very successful business people or good workers because they learn that ability to take all this pressure and all this, do this, do that. They've done that in sumo, and sumo is much way harder. At least they can say bye to the boss at 5 o'clock and go home. They
Mhm.
can't say goodbye to the boss at 5 o'clock and go home. Their home is a stable. So
Right.
you think about it. It's unique. It's a unique thing if you can handle because it's going to help you in your future. I tell all the kids, as I advise them, if you don't make it now, you just have to put your 100%. Everything is about how serious you are doing what you're doing with what you have right now, the opportunity you have. Take it because sumo is the only sport that once you leave, you cannot come back.
Hmm.
And you know, a lot of them really enjoy the life because even though it's hard, you don't get the opportunities you get assuming you travel the whole Japan back and forth all year. And if normally people that well, normal people don't meet get to meet, you know, people come and visit like, oh wow, there's a star or there's a famous athlete or idol that comes to the stable, and you know, not everybody got the opportunity, and not everybody get opportunities to go on TV with their. If you're like skibito to a oyakata or a skibito to a sekitori, you get to go with them and see all this. You like your eyes are like popping. Wow, that's the person that's on TV. You know, so
Mm.
those opportunities are not easy to come by.
Mhm.
So a lot of them really enjoy their life. Just that I always tell them don't get comfortable, but just because you enjoy their life, don't get comfortable. There's some stable who actually just don't look through that, but Musashimaru is one stable that he doesn't let the kids hang. Once he knows his kids have done everything they could, or they get out of line, he let them know it's time for you to go.
Mm.
He's the only stable that really does that. Everybody else is
Really?
just hang on these kids like for nothing. Man. A lot of things happening. The book and stuff is coming out in October. The big parties, the 2 day party, 18 and 19 in June. Just a lot of things going on. And above that, it's just trying to get back in action because we still Japan is even locked down. You guys don't really know, but it's just still locked down.
Yeah.
Like Japan is will be the last country to ever get out of their brain that you can actually go outside and breathe. No, my way of retiring is I really want to actually go into the deep parts of Japan. And Japan is a beautiful country, but there's
Yeah.
so much to see that you haven't seen yet. Yeah.
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 So that's my way of kind of retiring. You know, I've been working since I was 18. So
Man.
think about it, 40 years now, man. Which is all
Yeah.
good. I'm very grateful and humble about, you know, getting here. Like I didn't like, it's crazy. I think about it all the time, and like I can't even sleep anywhere because I think so much about it. You know, this year. In fact, like man, I stayed alive till this year. Like you know, because I have a lot of relatives and guys who are younger than me that passed away. You know, so like I tell man, this guy's too young to die. You know, so
Mhm.
just waiting for that moment.
Love it.
So I want to go out with a blast. I had a great 30-year anniversary. I had my dad perform on the stage, and we did it out in Yokohama. We had about 6,000 people come to the show,
Wow.
and that's the year that we break the record for the Guinness for the most ukulele players ensemble. and they played my song, and we have the Guinness, and that's the year 30 years, 10 years ago. So it's a 48th anniversary. It's more, I kind of made it smaller, more intimate with the people I've worked with and people I've dealt with the past 40 years, from sumo to my business side to my music side. And then I have the 19, which is open. It's an open mic there with all of my friends and musicians, the talented musicians, singers, and all the hula dancer studios that I know that we've worked together the past 20 something years. We come and just enjoy the day. That's more relaxing. So that's putting all that stuff together is kind of a headache right now. That's why I said I was on the phone all day yesterday. I'm gonna go and audition real sumo wrestlers from high school and college and create a new company. Just call it Sumo Entertainment. They're real sumo wrestlers, but it's to actually entertain or also sumo to the tourists that come here. And at the same time, a lot of people want to try to see if they can live in a sumo life, actually come and live the sumo life in a sumo stable. So I cannot do it with the actually active professional sumo. So we are working on trying to get, and you have to be a certain weight, a certain height to be part of the company, be part of our company. So I've been looking at this for the past 3 years or so. I've been approached many times from some New Yorkers about, we have money for this, but I told them, you ain't doing it right. So I either do it right or not do it at all. So but now I having the right people talking, and then it's going to be good. Then actually we can send out guys to go and train people, and then we can actually bring them. They can come back to see it and live the sumo life for real, in a real sumo stable, because a lot of sumo stables are now available and stuff. So I've been working on that for a long time. It was something I wanted to do for a long time. After my sumo tour I did in 2019, it was so successful and it was great. And I had ex-sumo wrestlers with me, so it was so good that people learned so much from the tour itself, from the Seattle, LA, and New York tour. So, and people have been asking again. So that's something we're looking at right now. So, and it'll be something good for the US guys if they're really serious about it. I can send guys out there to do a workshop and for them and stuff, and they just pay a fee for workshop and stuff.
They
work their ass.
They're hungry for it.
They probably get more people come out too, because sumo actually is good training for all the other sports too, not only sumo. And that's what people don't know. And stuff.
Football,
so. Just wanted to let you know that the troublemaker you had on that day was me. So
thank you for fessing up.
I might change my name and make more trouble.
Well, you keep causing trouble, okay? Because it's enjoyable on the backside.
Yes.
Well, you guys have a great time. Enjoy life. Stay safe, and Otandes. Thank you. Love you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Now you know the guy that makes trouble to you guys while you guys doing your sumo emceeing is Sumo 52. I think it was Sumo 53 or something like that. My address.
We obviously need to work on that skill, how to take shit.
I know, we were so worried because we care about people. We're like, oh my gosh, somebody's really mad at us. Like, you
guys are like getting so irritated. I was like laughing. Look at this guy getting irritated. Let's irritate this girls. We do it. It doesn't matter. We having fun anyway. We doing this and like okay. I didn't want to.
Wow,
I didn't
want to. Really gotten under your skin. I was.
I didn't want to
watching the chat. So
I didn't want to bust your bubble. But I was like thinking, should I let him know? Should I not? No, man, that's big trouble. I just keep on making trouble.